Northeastern Clinton Central School District Winter Sports Award Ceremony. I want to begin by saying a couple of thank yous. First, I'd like to thank Arsene Letourneau and Jeff Menard for doing a great job of getting us the plaques in a very short amount of time. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all of the custodial, maintenance, and transportation staffs that work here at Northeastern. They work extremely hard. They're great people. Many of them come to a lot of the athletic events here and are die-hard fans. They think a lot of the athletes here, whether they have children that are athletes or not. Thank you very much to those people. I would like to thank all of our staff, Anna Oliver, Elizabeth Fuster, Shelley Brooks, Jennifer Boyer, Kathy Devins, Eileen Dupre, and Renee Herzog. A special thanks to Lisa Menard, who was a huge help in the preparation of this award ceremony. I would like to thank our faculty and administration. They do an excellent job with all the young men and women that are part of this school district. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my coaches who work very hard, taking up a lot of time to work with all of our young athletes from 7th through 12th grade, and many of them work within the community as well, so they do a great job. Thank you very much. And most importantly, I want to thank all the athletes that are in this room. You know, this is my second award ceremony, and I can tell you that I was very proud of a couple things that I noticed this year about athletics here at Northeastern Clinton. One, and I'm not trying to single out any one team more than another, but one I can tell you is going to the girls basketball senior night and watching all these young ladies from the town. I don't know what grades, they might have been 3rd through 8th grade. They were all in a line and having all of our girls run through that. And that to me is just a great sign of the pride and tradition that our school district has in athletics, whether it be girls basketball, boys soccer, track and field, whatever it is. The second thing is what a great job I thought our fans did at our regional final games. We had tremendous fan support at both our boys and girls games, and it was evident that we were a classy school that was played with sportsmanship, showed sportsmanship in our fans. So we did a great job. Thank you very much. Before I get to the athletic athletic award segment of this ceremony, I would like to announce our academic recognition portion of this program. The following students successfully managed their time balancing their commitment to both academics and athletics. These students not only spent hours at practice and games, but also studied and worked diligently to earn and place on the NCCS second quarter high honor roll by earning an average of 90% or better. As I call each name with those individuals, please stand so that they can be recognized. Please hold your applause until I am finished so that everyone can hear their name being called. Madison Dumas, Kayla Glad, Kevin Sterling, Matt Jolliker, Rachel Barcombe, Katie Blair, Bianca Grimshaw, Justine Rabideau, Paige Southwick, Ali Cartier, Morgan Rabideau, Sarah Babby, Abby Miller, Taylor Rabideau, Nathan Lafave, Logan Miller, Rob Armstrong, Tom Bedard, Callan Dusso, Adam Cater, Matthew Lafave, Harley Tavernet, Kaylin Short, Serena Foster, Patricia Kupel, Ashley Boyer, Amanda Talon, Aaliyah McGoldrick, Sarah Adams, Janelle Menard, Chris Cokes, Ben Leduc, Nat Letourneau, Zach Gay, Mason Letourneau, and Ryan Marks. Let's have a round of applause, folks. These two seniors received the CVAC All Academic Award for their athletic and academic achievement during the winter season. The award, known as the John L. Herbert Memorial, is given to a senior girl and senior boy in recognition of their contribution to sports and their success in academics. As I call each name, please stand so that they can be recognized. This season, we honor Kaylin Short and Nathan Lafave. All right. The format of this ceremony is going to be the same format as in the fall. For those of you who did not participate in the fall ceremony, it will be different from last year's winter ceremony. Okay? I will announce each team and the coach of the team one at a time. I will then read a summary written by the coach as the coach walks down. At the end of the summary, I will announce the most improved and most valuable player award winners for each of those athletic programs. Once we have gone through each team, the teams will then go to a designated area here in the school. Once you are at that location, the JV coach will begin by handing out the JV team certificates and awards, and then have an opportunity to speak about that year's team. Once they have finished, the varsity coach will do the same. As I'm going through all this, this is my first year. There's a lot of students here that I may mispronounce their name, and I may have already done so I apologize for that as well. If we don't have a certificate or we don't have an award here for you, it's not an intentional thing. Please come and see me, and we'll correct that, okay? The locations that each team will go to are as follows. JV and varsity boys basketball will stay in the high school auditorium. JV and varsity girls basketball will go to the high school gym. Varsity hockey will go across the hall to the high school cafeteria. Varsity boys and girls bowling will go into the high school library. Varsity cheerleading will go into the middle school cafeteria. Let's begin with boys and girls bowling, coached by Coach Rick Dumas. Our boys team was young with only one senior, Corey Manor. The majority of the team was comprised with sophomores, freshmen, and an exceptional 7th grader. With such a young team, our goals were to be competitive against the CVAC perennial powers of Beekmantown and Peru, increase our team's skills, and hopefully have an all-selection qualifier for the state championships. While we did not have an all-selection qualifier on the team, I feel that we did accomplish our other goals. And as the year concluded, we had improved our record from last season by nearly 30 points. With Beekmantown and Peru graduating 4 of the best bowlers in the league, the next year I am looking forward to having a few NCCS bowlers replacing them. Names like Kyle Siebert, Joey Robert, Landon Goslin, Chris Cokes, and Matt Jolliker will be found regularly in the Press Republican. If these young men continue to put in the effort, I am confident that one, if not more, of these bowlers will represent NCCS as an all-selection qualifier in 2012. The varsity bowling most improved player is awarded to Chris Cokes and Matt Jolliker. The varsity bowling most valuable player is awarded to Kyle Siebert.
Kyle was sent home from school today with big guys when he could return.
Girls bowling. After a regular season CVAC championship in 2009 and 10, our goals were set quite high. Beekmantown had graduated its exceptional senior bowler, and our girls team had focused its sights on the sectional championship. We had a very successful regular season with an exceptional 50-14 record. In our head-to-head matches against Beekmantown, we did not perform as well as we did last season and fell just short in winning the regular season title. But nonetheless, another solid second place finish for our girls squad. As the sectional tournament approached, we felt we were ready to make our magical run at CVAC sectional title. We had practiced at the North Bowl and scored well. But unfortunately, as what often happens in a one-day tournament, teams do not always perform their best on just one single day, and our team goal was not reached. Our ladies put in a valiant effort, but fell a little short in the end. The varsity girls bowling most improved player is awarded to Katie Trombley. The Varsity Bowling Most Valuable Player Award is awarded to Aaliyah McGoldrick and Janelle Menard. Varsity Boys Hockey, coached by Coach Rob Francis and Coach Jason Barnhart. Coming into this year, we were not sure really what to expect. Anytime you have 80% of your team as underclassmen, with most of them being freshmen, there is always going to be question marks. After the first few weeks, it was obvious the work ethic was not going to be a question. This team attacked every practice like they were battling for every bit of ice time they could get. The games were lost were not due to lack of hustle or effort, and in most cases, we outshot our opponents. It seemed every mistake we made ended up in the back of our net, and when the other team made one, we couldn't capitalize. The captains did a great job leading such a young team, and lots of players stepped up into their bigger roles. As coaches, we wish the best to the seniors and anxiously await next season and another chance to return Northeastern hockey to championship form. The Varsity Hockey Most Improved Player is awarded to James Gay. The Varsity Hockey Most Valuable Player is awarded to Bobby Marks. Varsity Cheerleading, coached by Coach Marcy Ryan. I was very nervous coming into being the new coach, but the girls welcomed me right away, and I knew this was going to be fun. I had a great group of girls who are very different from each other, which made this season entertaining. One thing they all have in common is their dedication to be the best. I thought having 11 new cheerleaders was going to be a challenge, having to teach everything about cheerleading to them, but they came to practice ready to learn and work hard. We had a lot of obstacles thrown at us this year, but the girls proved they are unstoppable. I'm so proud of my CVAC champs and so glad I decided to coach this year. The Varsity Cheerleading Most Improved Player is awarded to Kaylin Short. The varsity cheerleading most valuable player is awarded to Serena Foster. JV girls basketball coached by Coach Stacy Dominic. Our season started in November with an extremely hard-working group of players. These kids came to practice every day with great attitudes and a tremendous will to get better. They realized they needed to improve individually so the team as a whole would improve. The season started out slowly when the weather forced cancellations of both our preseason scrimmages. We also had to deal with injuries at the beginning of the season. As the season continued, everyone made excellent progress. The result of this progress was apparent as we won 7 games in a row. We finished the season with a 10-4 league record. The season ended on a high note when we beat Saranac at home. The team was very excited about the win and proud of all the accomplishments throughout the year. The JV girls basketball most improved player is awarded to Ashley McCoy. The JV girls basketball most valuable player is awarded to Jordan Dominic and Skylar Hebert. Girls varsity basketball coached by Coach Dave Lambert. The girls varsity basketball team has enjoyed another successful season. They finished second place in Division I with a 13-3 record. With wins over Beekmantown, Ausable Valley, and Saranac in the finals, they were able to claim the Section 7 Class B title, receiving a bye in the regionals to advance to the title game. They eventually lost to Hoosick Valley by 4 points. Although it was a heartbreaking loss, they certainly had a very successful and rewarding season. A few words of thanks. To my wife, Lisa, thank you for all your help, understanding, patience, and support throughout the season. To my daughter, Casey, thank you for all your cheering and chart keeping. Thank you to Julie Rao and all the members of the Booster Club. You do a tremendous job, and it is greatly appreciated. Thank you to Calvin Castine for taping all of our games. The varsity girls basketball most improved player is awarded to Justine Rabideau and Bianca Grimshaw. The varsity girls basketball most valuable player is awarded to Rachel Barco, Carey Dominic, Katrina Garand, and Chelsea Brooks. boys basketball, coached by Coach Jerry Davison. This season was full of ups and downs. These guys worked very hard and they made great strides in every phase of the game. Our season was slow to start, going 1-1 in the Malone tournament and losing to Beekmantown in our first regular season game. Having such a young team, and most of them first-year players at this level, I knew we were going to have a rough road and we would have to really work hard at every aspect of the game. Finishing 500 would be a great accomplishment to say the least. After going 2 of 3 to start the season, we ran off 6 wins in a row against some tough teams, and I couldn't have been more proud of these guys. We met and exceeded our goals and had some great moments throughout the year. I am very pleased with the academic strengths of each player on this team. I didn't have to worry about losing anybody for academic reasons. We had a discussion about grades early in the year. Every player was on the honor roll or higher, most with high honors. This is a credit to the parents of these kids. I would like to emphasize the sportsmanship that was shown throughout the year from our players and our parents. It was a pleasure to coach these young men, and it was a season of surprising accomplishments. I would like to thank Tori Dupree and Christine Langer for volunteering to keep the book for both JV and varsity games, and Calvin Castine for taping the games. The JV boys basketball most improved player is awarded to Rodney Grimshaw. The JV boys most valuable player is awarded to Harley Tabernac. Varsity boys basketball, coached by Coach Rob Guerin. The varsity boys basketball team has enjoyed another successful season. The team finished with an overall record of 19-2. The team's accomplishments this season were CVAC co-champions, Section 7 champions, and regional finalists, just falling a 3-pointer short of upsetting the #1 ranked Potsdam Sandstoners and making a trip to the Final Four. The team also maintained a state ranking through the season and were recognized by officials by receiving the Sportsmanship Award for the positive character attributes they displayed game after game. The players, regardless of how many years they have been played varsity, have enjoyed a higher winning percentage than any other CVAC team. For individual awards, Logan Miller received honorable mention. Jamie Davison was selected as first team CVAC All-Star. Stephen Carter, CVAC Most Valuable Player, and Rob Guerin as Coach of the Year. The team represented their maroon and white proudly and brought their Cougar community together to celebrate their achievements. We are very proud of you and hope your hard work and dedication will be contagious for younger athletes who also wish to be successful. The varsity boys basketball most valuable player is awarded to Stephen Carter and Jamie Davison. Okay, before we conclude this evening, I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank all the work that was put into this by quite a few people. One thing that I would like to mention, and I don't know how many parents here are parents of athletes that are going to be involved with spring sports, but our school district is investing in us starting a new type of website called League Minder. And then approximately 2 weeks, on April 6th is the tentative date. It will be in the Press Republican, when we will be having our spring sports preseason meeting. At that meeting, I will be discussing League Minder. And what that is it allows parents to be able to sign up, where you'll be able to put in your email address. And if you have a son that is a modified soccer, basketball, and JV track athlete, that anytime a change in the schedule is made, you put in your email address. As soon as I make a change on the schedule, you immediately get an email saying that the change has been made. Okay? As well as you'll be able to go on the website, check to see statistics, there'll be videos, there'll be pictures of the teams. So it's something that I'm trying to start here at Northeastern. If your son or daughter is not involved in a spring sport, it may be a good idea to come to that meeting just so you can see how it works and where you can go, the website that you can go to sign up for it. Before everyone leaves, I would like to reread the locations they will be going to finish the award ceremony. JV and Varsity boys basketball will stay here in the high school auditorium. JV and Varsity girls basketball will go into the high school gym. Varsity hockey will go across the hall into the high school cafeteria. Varsity boys and girls bowling will go into the high school library. Varsity cheerleading will go to the middle school cafeteria. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening, and please have a safe trip home. Thank you very much.
Captain Sousa. Here. I don't even know what's here. Garrett Lagore. Florida. Callan Duso. Florida. Hawaii. Rodney Grimshaw. Adam Caters. Matt Lafave. Brent Stein. Harley Tavernier. Brendan Boughton. Austin Tatro. Dory Dupree. And Christine Lang. Kristen, sorry. John Fillion. All right, I'm going to read this. Is this on? Do I need it? Never mind. I'd like to start out thanking a few people, Mr. Herrica, Josh for always working support, Calvin for taping all our games, and parents for all their support and understanding. As I always say, we have great kids, respectful to one another and their peers, and they always show great sportsmanship. As parents, you should be proud of yourselves for doing such a great job with your kids. We had a pretty good season where goals were reached and surpassed, and I think these guys made some great strides in getting to the point where they need to be to make some noise in the CBAC in the years to come. They have ways to go yet, but we're getting closer and we're seeing some good things. We will continue to work in the off season, and hopefully that will be the factor we need to get there. They don't have a lot of time to get ready, as all these kids are either 8th or 9th grade, except for Kevin, who's a sophomore. But 5 or 6 of these kids got to move up, so they got to improve quickly. I chose Rodney as our MIP because the beginning of the season, when he was hurt for a little while, he came back and he just wasn't playing the way he was when he left. If you know Rodney, he doesn't usually have a problem with confidence, or as he's talking about it. But after Christmas break, he took off and started playing very well, especially on the offensive end, and also came up with some big shots to help us win. Austin and Brendan, as 8th graders, did a great job, and because of Austin's defense, he got to log in quite a few minutes every game and also had some big shots. And because Brendan handles the ball very well most of the time, he got some quality minutes as well. John Fillion has a chance to make an impact for our program, depending on how much he wants to work at it. He can get it in gear when he wants to, but we're still not sure what it is we need to do to get it out of him. But we'll find out, I hope, soon. But the colorblind thing was something I will never forget, John, so thank you very much. GB, Garrett, and Adam Cater showed some good things and just need to be more consistent, which will come with another year's experience, we hope. And last but not least, Callan Dusso and Brett Stein and Matt Lafave, who are great kids who came to practice every day and worked their butts off to improve themselves for the team, and will be looked upon to step it up next season. Overall, a great season. We had some nice moments of coming from behind against Saranac team and winning after being 17 down at halftime. We beat back Beatman Town by 10 points after losing to them by over 20 the first time we played them. And having a 6-game win streak during the year to go 8-3 at the time of the season. And the one I will always remember, and Calvin loved this one also, was the game we lost against BHS in overtime, even though we scored more points than the other team. It's always the first. Also, thanks to Kristen and Tori for keeping my book for me, and Rob will give you something on behalf of myself and our team. If there's any doubt that our program is one of the best, you only need to look at what our varsity team did this year, and to know that we could have competed and given any team in the state a run for their money and is rewarding in itself. But to get there, you need a coach that knows what it takes and knows how to get the most out of their kids and make themselves understand the value of work ethic, and confidence in teamwork. And what Coach Guerin does with these kids year after year is nothing short of amazing. He takes it one step further, and his team receives the Sportsmanship Award year after year, not only from the officials of the games, but the league. We deserve the Sportsmanship Award because we show the best sportsmanship of any team, and that's the bottom line. We have great kids. We are very lucky to have Coach Guerin as the head coach of our basketball program, because you get more than just a coach. More importantly, you get someone that helps your kids become leaders and helps them show that leadership on and off the court. He has won 4 Coaches of the Year awards in 6 years and is very deserving. I couldn't be more proud of or thankful that he has been the coach of both my sons for their varsity careers. So for our basketball players that played soccer in the fall, it's been a very rewarding senior year for you guys, and I couldn't be more proud, and I'm sure your parents and fans couldn't be more proud of what you have accomplished so far. Hopefully we can make some noise in baseball and top it off with another successful season in your varsity careers here at NCCS. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank the parents and for their support, bringing us to our practice and our games. Also, Mr. America for the work he has done for the program. But mostly the coach, aka Silver Fox Davison, for his dedication to the NCCS program. This year went better than expected. We ended up with over a 500 record and some close wins against Saranac and PHS. Though we lost the last game in PHS, we know in our hearts that we won. But we had some good times this season, from a 4-game virtual water game to John filling on us claiming he went colorblind. Even though the only jersey colors on the court were black and white. And also the Advocators Shake It Out dance free throw. Even though the practices were rough, Coach only pushed us to make us the best that we could be. Although sometimes he would come in and show us up to the Davison hook. It was a great season. And Mr. Davison has helped us become not just a basketball team, but a family. And it's a little bit, we know games are bringing here.
I'd like to begin by saying thank you to everybody for coming this evening. First of all, as Jerry was saying, Mr. Carey was saying, I think to echo those statements, we can't say enough about our school community as when you show up to a basketball game and you're basically feeling like you're on your home court at Plattsburgh High, neighboring local crowd, that definitely says the hard work of the gentleman and the community that's behind them, and the school system that's behind them, whether you're talking present faculty members, retired. It's quite amazing year after year, the tradition of excellence that our Cougar boys varsity basketball displays again on and off the court. And I think that says a lot because quite often it could be as simple as our Monday mentoring at Ross's Point Elementary School to why our younger athletes come and watch us. It could be because going to a game and seeing how our skills and play have excelled to why we bring more and more and all those little things. Again, my thank yous go not only to the parents and the players for their hard work, but in addition to all the school personnel that support our student athletes, as well as community members that we think regardless of their past alumni or working towards the future. I would actually like to begin by saying it's happened for the first time in our program. I received something special yesterday dated to the principal of NCCS. It ended up in the hands of Mr. Grotto. And the past 6 years, we've had an outstanding program, one that any CBAC's team around can have to match. However, what truly makes an impact is when you have people who cannot get out of their homes. And at some point, I would make this copy available to our athletes. The title of the poem is called Ode Victory to the NCCS Cougar Champions. And the gentleman gave me permission to add and delete what I felt I needed to from the poem. However, it's his work, so I'm not going to delete any of his information. But it says a lot when you have alumni that says to please make sure you pass all the information on how proud he was and following him even though he could not be there. This was from Paul Lafave from the class, alumni from the class of 1961. That followed your play. And he also prayed for someone to help. And I did not, I just learned that Saint Sebastian, if you ever pray for future teams, is the patron saint for athletes. Sebastian, so if you want a copy of this, you're more than happy to do that. But that, all kidding aside, goes to show again, it doesn't matter what level we're working with, whether it's elementary school, or the difference we make bringing an entertaining game, or somebody that can just listen to it and be proud of, hey, I went to school there, and I know they represent our school color. So again, thank you to all. Thank you to my coaches, Mr. Greeno, as well as Jerry. Jerry knows this is probably the most difficult night for me and wanted to obviously make it worse. One of the worst things that people see, which is very, very difficult, is when you're working with a group and you go through the season and you're thinking game, so you only see the games. You don't see what happens in practice and the hard work and your words of inspiration and delivery of inspiration, or what happens in the locker room, or things like that. For us, it's much more than that. It's from our managers who have been kind enough to put a family dinner on for us. And I say family dinners because it's the words that Rodney used, which is so true. We preach that when you have goals, you want to reach your goals, your individual goals as well as your team goals, you can become family first. Families can move mountains, and I think that was a great display. Once again, why we have that goal and vision to keep our program where it needs to be, and that we're not going to settle for anything less is why we achieve all those accomplishments. So I give a lot of credit as well for that as well. We have three players I'd like to talk about at this time. Dalton Caston, who our team this year spent most of the season sidelined due to injuries. Unfortunately, was working very hard in his very first tournament game. And I think it's because his body was going so fast because he was so conditioned that when he received that half-court outlet, he landed on his ankle and ended up down and out for several weeks. And so while he was taking good care of his injury, decided to make his way back to the team. And it was during a difficult practice that we had at Ross's Point Elementary School that nobody was even around. Dalton went up for a rebound, and so you know he's doing some type of dance and the basket again. And then we came to realize at that point he was re-injured, and we definitely had the understanding through having a nice little chat that we need to be real smart and selective with this injury happening again. That we need to take it easy, and you need to feel that you're ready. So as the end of the season was going on, we continued to push it more and more and more. I said that I think that gives a lot to his character. It's very easy to say, coach, I've been hurt twice, and I think I'm just going to sideline one that can definitely add humor to the team. And start us off, we talked about motivation, and he had our beginning, I guess, corral dance session going on before we went into every game. I won't sing the song for you, but it was well done, to say the least. And it is taking people like that, again, that he has the ability, one of his strengths, to bring people together. And that is critical when it comes to a team and being one entity. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Don Testa. One reason why I did not, I had two most valuable players, and I did not have list any most improved players, because again, we sat down all night and thought this game over and over and over again throughout this part of the season. You're supposed to be looking at it as how is somebody from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, but you can't help forget about somebody who last season has improved so much this season. There's so many areas, so as I go on to the next individual, Rob Armstrong came up as a sophomore last year and did not get a lot of playing time, so he definitely knew what it was like to watch others play. And continued to work hard. I never thought that we could ever get Rob to have a decent shot, but that finally has come into play, and that all goes into talking about confidence, or the shooter's strap, right? Believe that. But his confidence was developing overnight. And not only did he become more aggressive at attacking the basket, he was very critical to went to basically our four-guard offense. A big play, especially in some of those big games, he was always there to play for those Plattsburgh High games, whether it was shooting the three, getting the ball up through when they weren't looking, and just going and attacking the basket. Most importantly, we had a very small team, and with small teams, especially with the defense we play, it's pretty remarkable how we are even able to sometimes we think people literally dominate our inside. So again, it comes through hard work, commitment, and another one that can always add entertainment to practice. So I think that's the biggest thing talking about all of them. That's the one thing you miss. The most simple part as a coach is you get attached. Tonight is like your closure, especially with your seniors. It's not fun. And you develop a family, you spend 2, 3, 4 years going to tournaments. Even though you see him again, you know you'll see him in the gym again, you know you'll see him at future games. You basically are, you're moving on. Compared to riding a bicycle, you're moving him on to the next level, which is very, very difficult to do. So he will have to be a leader to next year's team, and I'm sure he'll do just that, continue working in the offseason to fine-tune his skills similar to Grimshaw. First-year player to our team, Alex Davison. Alex definitely knows stepping up to this level was a big difference, big change, especially with playing with people that had varsity experience. Really came on, especially through scrimmaging at the end of the season, being able to baskets. He knows, we've talked about what he needs to do. I definitely think he can be a key component to next year's team with very hard work in the offseason, because there are several things that he does do well. And hopefully, again, with the offseason work, it will improve his confidence, and he can be a future leader to teams, you know, with the areas of, we know some of our teams will get frustrated with scrimmaging with him, because every once in a while he could hit 4 3-pointers in a matter of a minute or two, and that's going to be very, very important to next year's group, that we're able to do that. But as always, I share with any people that are attempting to come back, it's never a given. You have to continue working. There are people, talented people that are moving up as well, regardless of what grade you have to continue working. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Alex Davison. Second-year player, brought him up as a freshman, sophomore this year, Tom Bernard. Tom, same thing, very critical spot, down low in the defense, had to try to attempt to rebound kids with several inches. Another player, very, very capable of, and also the most improved award, as does several of the others I will continue to announce and have announced. his confidence came from, he had it at the beginning of the season, and we had to work on areas and went through a dry spell. And when he continued to say, hey, I'm not going to give up and hang it up, is when he continued to work that much harder. And his hard work, and when you start getting shots to foul and taking care of the ball, making sure it ends up in our players' hands, you start doing things well, and again, you build up and build up and build up. And many key games for us. And he was a critical component, matter of fact, to that Plattsburgh game, splitting the defense. And one of the big reasons why, in addition to the others that were out very successfully, was go on to the state tournament. I have no doubt whatsoever that he will continue to work hard this season because he has goals and he knows what he needs to reach. And I can guarantee you he will reach those goals because of his hard work and dedication. And he is one of those role models for younger athletes too, to say that it's not just about what happens during the season, it's what you do after the season. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Tom Blair. I never thought Katie Tierney could be replaced. She is a tough act to follow. And when it came to the first 6-7 weeks of the season, and I had my two managers, I really was saying, Katie Tierney cannot be replaced. But that thing started to click. And I think they felt definitely part of the team. They were committed to the team. It's not fun sometimes going to a practice for 2 hours to run a score clock. As they know, as the boys have heard me drill, the best assistant coach is the score clock. And they've been committed, and they took it upon themselves to organize the dinner, which we had. And I think what we don't realize is it was great having that dinner, and we thank the Langers parents, our Christmas parents, also for opening up the doors to us that evening. What we don't remember is that was probably a key point. Because as close as we were and as much time as we spent together, it's those types of situations when you feel it and you just know that we continue to become one. We continue to become one. And we continue to reach about what are our goals and what are we doing to reach those goals. In order to reach goals, you have to be family first. And I think Kristen and Tori did a good job, whether it was giving us a candy bag treat or whatever it may be. We understood the commitment of being a team and for them to feel part of the team. And I definitely hats off to the boys who was welcome and being committed to part of the team. So at this time, if we could have Kristen and Tori come on up. Now we move on to our 5 seniors. Not with us this evening, we have Richie Collins. Richie has been on the team since 10th grade. Richie at the end continued to work hard, even without a lot of playing time and lack of confidence. However, still came in and always did his best and continued to work and never looking down upon somebody that may have said, hey, you've earned or you've gotten ahead to this time, that now I'm watching, he still cared about the success of the team and our players, no matter who they were on the floor. And that's one of the things that we often forget. We often think about, the players that won against Beacontown got us to Plattsburgh High. No, the players that got us to Plattsburgh High got us to Potsdam. What goes unnoticed many times when I talk about gym time is maybe people that have less experience playing basketball or are not to the level to the people that are getting in the game. But I will tell you they are equally important as the 5 players that played in that game because they're the ones working hard. And any of the people that spent the time during the game can tell you that they work hard and they challenge them during practice. And that, again, talk about sportsmanship, shows about character because you care enough about your team, you can hang your head up, and you learn in life that not everything's going to go in your way and that you may not get the time you need. It's a varsity sport, but still continue to come out, be able to smile and laugh and say jokes and continue to work like you are getting every second. It says a lot about leaders in their communities. We have Richie, who this year did a nice job playing the middle spot in offense, was able in game situations sometimes to get key rebounds that we needed. What I'm very proud to say is that all 5 boys are going on to their next post-high school, which is very, very important to go on to college. Some planning on playing basketball, others it doesn't matter. The fact that they're going to college is a big success story to be a student athlete, maintain grades, and do well for the future. I hope you remember that into college. That's something you need to continue working at and making sure your academic coursework is where it needs to be also. So we have Richie Collins, who's not with us this evening, and Richie will be attending Onondaga Community College. Nate Lafave, the first patch I've ever been able to give out. They're all academic 2010. He told me at practice one day that he was going to be a brain surgeon. And I never know with Nate because he loves to entertain, so whether he was trying to get me going or whether he truly was going to be a brain surgeon. He's going to be planning on attending Albany College of Pharmacy, so I guess he's not going to be a brain surgeon. However, he's probably going to give medication for people that have had surgery or so on. Still, not an easy program to get into, so it says a lot about his work ethic. To continue playing, especially very long nights of basketball, but understanding that education is priority first. Nate is another one of those poster childs for hard work. He knew his role when he was brought onto the team last year and never once doubted it or questioned it. And this year, not only really worked at being conditioned, improved his game, but not just always the person. Last year, Nate became that person that, without even knowing it, brought all of us together. It could be that it's his first time in a very long time playing basketball and they finished the drills behind others and others to motivate and cheer for him. He had this magic about him that could just bring all of us together as a team. This year, he by far was not at the end of the drills, but still had the same component of keeping us together as a team. He knew if I was in a bad mood, he knew the one thing to say in addition to a few others that could get me going in the right direction. So he is greatly going to be missed for his humor, his hard work, and dedication to our program. He has definitely been, as they all have, enjoyed it. Nate Lafave. Logan Miller. Logan may have a more of a difficult plan. He's planning on attending Syracuse, and best of luck. May 13th, Logan. But you never know, right? Maybe that they're heartbreaking defeat. You can give him at least words of inspiration. But Logan, another great kid to coach. You may think he's silent, but he's not silent. He has that same humor, but it'll come out when you least expect it. Logan showed his true colors at the end of the season. We continue to talk about it. You know, obviously I'm not having a close game all season, but we're going to continue to talk and say we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And before the PHS game, the Potsdamer game, he became a key leader that we depended on, not only for his huge improvement of play, which just took place overnight to show you how so much of the game is about confidence, but his leadership ability to deliver messages to teams that what his role is going to be, what our role is going to be, and what we're going to accomplish. Just another kid that will look right into your eyes, tell you exactly, you tell him what they need to do, he's going to work, he's going to do it. No doubt in my mind, he'll do very well. He'll excel at his next step at Syracuse. We'll be reading about him and his success stories as well. And hopefully, as I've said to all the seniors, I hope you come back and continue as others have in the past back in our program. So we will greatly also miss Logan Miller. Davison, 3-year player. I actually saw one of his tournament pictures. I was not coaching in 6th grade, and all I have to say is you really slimmed out. Really slimmed out. Teresa, too bad I have one of those on the slideshow. I said, wow, is that Jamie? Hard work, right? Yeah, hard work. Our sophomores, which is pretty remarkable because the varsity do keep track of stats. I shouldn't say our sophomores, our 3-year varsity players. Pretty remarkable to end up with a 58 wins, 6 loss career. That's pretty powerful to say about our program. And I think, again, it doesn't go unnoticed about the hard work we did. It's going to be very, very difficult to ever believe. I know he's had the opportunity to go to tournaments a lot, as have others. I'm not going to say never, because it's not fair to say that there never will be. But it's pretty strong to believe that it's going to be very difficult when you get that to ever see a boy who can dribble a basketball and control the game with confidence as J.P. Davison is. I know I have the past 6 years, all us teams we've had, I've never had one. Matter of fact, there were teams as great as we were before that was missing that key ingredient. We had good point guards, but we didn't have a point guard that excelled in fact of what Jamie was. Jamie is that athlete that I could be looking ready to just, and clenching my hands because saying, why did he just make that pass? Why did he just make that pass? That's so obvious to the other team. What we have to forget is about the 60 passes that we're looking back and saying, how did he make that pass? How did he make that pass? And sometimes, believe it or not, some of his passes that are not the best of passes, there are other passes we believe that aren't the best, but are actually very good. But we may not be moving to the location, moving in our reaction time fast enough to where he wants the ball to go. Shooting, everything. Couldn't ask for a better senior year. He had great junior, senior, sophomore, junior years, which is the reason why he's the first team CBAC All-Star. There's a reason why we get highest votes often with the coaches around the league for the hard work that we did. And you know, it came to the last game in Potsdam, and he was a little down. Thinking, okay, you know, I had to work the first half. Well, he brought it together, and he could have washed it up the second half. However, so many of our games this season, thankful to Jamie Davison and what he did with the ball. Just like we could go on over and over and over again. There are many players at different games that had the highlights, whether it was, you know, Steven dominating the middle, or Logan hitting 3 after 3 after 3 and just excelling with his confidence. That's what goes to show a supporting role, and guess what? You can't only worry about 1 or 2 of us anymore. You better worry about all of us that are on the floor. And Jamie helped set that up. So I give a lot of credit, greatly missed. He'll be attending Hudson Valley. There's no doubt in my mind if he attempts and wills to play basketball, that he will do just as well. So I'd like to recognize Jamie Davison. And the last student athletes recognized tonight, Stephen Carter, 3-year varsity player. Over the years, always recognized as a CBL All-Star and achieving this year the league's most valuable player. Stephen in his sophomore year had a very big year. Was also surrounded with the opportunity to play with Matt Frabacco and Connor Chapman. So it was nice to see. One of the biggest things I love is, oh my goodness, Northeastern Clinton for the first time is actually putting some very large, tall players on the floor. It was a dream come true. And as you can see, as graduation took place, we started going back this way again. And that's okay. And then he developed a very difficult role because when he started playing the 4-guard, one inside, it became Stephen and Stephen alone, which was able to have more people mark up him. He would get to our job on the outside. 1,000-point score, very few from any program, not just Northeastern, are able to accomplish. So recognize his hard work and talent achieving that goal. And what I like to, you know, we go to Beekmantown, we talk about big games. Not one of our best games, we had to come back and actually take out a mirror to see who we were and where our direction was, because we better have a new direction. And had a huge second half. And what Stephen's influence was in the last 2 to 3 games is he may not have had the 20 points that we expected, 20 plus points that we expected from every game interactive. He may have had less than that, but what he did was he opened it for outside shooting because so many people were double and triple teaming. So that in itself became the opener for us to continue being successful. Very dominant post play. Very excited to see him go to, he'll be attending North Country Community College, and seeing him play with some other students that have his caliber and size, to have another post player been actively working with him, that's going to allow him to be open more often. I'm sure we've heard about North Country, we'll continue reading about him in our local press Republican to see the standout work that he's been doing. And a great kid to coach. Fewer words than Jamie and Rob and me, even sometimes Logan, but his few words are pretty powerful that he has. But he's definitely been a team leader, as they all have to young people, as well as teammates. And again, I hope you all remember that whether you're playing baseball or not, you still can always as much as you can, because if you watch your new path all of it, you're going to pick up in your family. And part of the love I always think about rookies or cleans, we don't forget who our role is. Because home is very hard, it's your first game that gets you the foundation that you're going to be successful. That's where everything falls very, very well. The character that he possesses, the hope we can teach others that we come in contact with and make very wise choices. Stephen Carter. I know I've taken enough of your time, however, if I could, following our awards night, just for literally 3 minutes, meet with the 9th grade basketball parents, I'd greatly appreciate it. Just meet over there following, it would be very quick progress.
Hello. I just have a few things to say. I'd like to thank Calvin and Joe Southwick for taping our games. Thank you to all our fans for showing up every game to cheer us on. We knew no matter how good or bad we played, we'd always have a great support system around us. A special thanks goes to coaches Rob Guerin and Michael Fabacco. This year was Coach Mike's first Section 7 championship, right? Mike, yep. And Mr. Guerin's third championship. They have made my senior year the most enjoyable and successful year I have ever had in basketball. Any coach that wins 4 Coach of the Year awards in 6 years is a spectacular accomplishment and something that many coaches can only dream of. Year after year, teams talk a big game about NCCS Cougars, and year after year, we seem to shut them up, and it all starts with the coaching staff. When a player in your team runs to the point where he throws up on one side of the court, and coach says just go to the other side and continue running, you know he's not messing around. No doubt the best coach I've had and will ever have. To all the seniors, it's been a fun ride, and I will miss you all. To the underclassmen, it's been fun, and I wouldn't change a thing. You guys are awesome. Good luck to you next year.
Yeah, you're free to go, everyone.
Jordan. Stand back. Skylar Heaver. Randy Menard. Morgan Rabbit. Abby Miller. Christina Bayo. Taylor Rapp. Have a lot to add. We had a preseason meeting, and I had 3 goals for our team. I wanted to make the season fun for all the girls on the team. I wanted to help everyone improve. I wanted to help them try to reach the next level. And I wanted to win through games. That was the order that I set my priorities. I think it worked out pretty well for each of the players. Very proud to have this group. They always had a positive attitude. I like that. I'm very proud of them just for having that positive attitude. I know all the parents, everybody around in the community is very proud of these kids. They work hard, they're great people. Everybody on our team, I think, was in agreement the season ended too soon. We're going to try and fix that. We're going to do a small AAU season this spring. We want just a little bit lucky. Had a great time. I don't think there were very many speedballs. We had a little slow start. Things picked up in the middle. I think the progress was very obvious. Very proud of these girls. I think we have unlimited potential. And I just wanted to say one little thing about our seniors. You guys took us for a ride. We didn't go as far as you wanted to, but it was a great time.
Rachel Barkley. Megan Bowmill. Chelsea Brooks. Carey Dominic. Katie Blair. Katrina Gearing. Kayla Dragon. Bianca Grimshaw. Justine Radley. Paige Southwick. Ali Karchi. Like Stacy, I don't read off the cuff too good, so just bought a spray blue one.
I got a few more thank yous other than the ones I set aside. I certainly want to thank Joe Southwick for keeping the scorebook this year. It's a very important job at the varsity level, and it was nice to know the job was getting done right. Thanks, Joe. I also want to thank Jessica Nerlin. She's a modified coach. She stepped up to coach the modified team this year, and she did a great job. Her team had a lot of success. Stacy Dominic. He also stepped up and coached the JV team this year. He had a lot of new girls on the team, and a few injuries at the start of the season. He got off to a little slow start, but by the end of the season, he had the team playing very good basketball. They had a huge win over Saranac in their final game. It was also very nice to have Stacy on the bench with me as my assistant. It's good to have a second set of eyes to see the things going on in the court. Thank you, Stacy, for all your help this year. I want to thank all the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and everybody else who came to support us. You have my deepest gratitude. It was greatly appreciated to see so many cheering fans this year. A special thank you, though, goes out to the parents of my senior players. It's certainly a sad time to see your daughter play her last game on high school level. We certainly hope to see you continue coming to our games, though. You're always very welcome. Summarizing our season was a hard thing for me to do this year. We certainly had a lot of ups this year, and unfortunately, we had some down times too. We had 3 preseason games this year, all canceled due to snowstorms, power outages, and school closings. We entered the season untested. Beavertown and Saranac were our first 2 games. And these 2 games were not as close as I wanted to be, and they didn't really prepare us for Saranac. We started out slowly against Saranac, fell behind 25-8. We fought back hard though, and come up 1 point short. A disappointing loss. Only 3 games into the season, we already lost our first game. And this game was only the first of 5 very tough games. After Saranac, we played Alsable Valley, Malone, Messina, and Peru. 5 very tough games indeed. Well, as you know, the next 4 games we won. This was a stretch that I think we'd all be happy, but things weren't quite that way. I had several parents that were upset for one thing or the other. I had a couple players who were upset for a few things. To cap it off this year, for the first time in my career, I had 2 players decide to leave the team. And to this day, it hurts me still. The last thing I ever want for one of my players is to leave the team. I wish things had been worked out, and that just didn't happen. I can leave that to this day. After that, though, I was pretty depressed for a few games, a few nights. And after practice, my 2 captains asked to speak to me. My first thought, oh no, what's going to happen now? Well, Katrina and Chelsea told me that they supported me and my decisions, and they gave me a vote of confidence that things would get better. We just have to work together. Well, that 10th minute talk with those 2 girls picked up my spirits tremendously. We went on to win our next 8 games. Things were getting a little better. Everyone was getting good playing time. And then we came to Saranac and Peru the same week. We lost by 3 points to Saranac and 6 to Peru. I think I don't ever want to go back to Peru again. My first year coaching Varsity, Katrina went down with shoulder injury, and it was not the same the rest of the year. This year we go there, Chelsea goes down with an injured knee. Well, things are not going very well again. We did end up winning our last game of the year against PHS, and we finished the season at 13-3. Sectionals are now here, and it's a new season. We get by a Beavertown team and a tough Sable Valley team. And we meet Saranac in the finals. I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't think my heart could take any more close games like that one. It was without a doubt the most intense game from start to finish I've ever coached in my life. The last minute seemed to take forever. I cannot explain the feeling I had when that final horn went off. I saw Rachel running down the court with the ball. We had the lead, and we had the Section 7 championship title. What a feeling. And this was just not a victory for our coaches and players. It was a victory for the whole community. Parents, grandparents, everyone. I believe we represented Northeast Dakota very well. Well, you know, it's never good to lose your final game. But unless you win the state championship, you are going to lose your final game. We played Hoosick Valley, a very good team, in the regional finals. We had the lead for 30 minutes and 42 seconds. We didn't trail until they went ahead with 1 minute, 18 seconds left of the game on a 3-pointer. still think to this day if that three-pointer had bounced the other way, we were upset. It was certainly sad to lose this way, but I couldn't be more proud of the entire team. What I have learned from this season mostly though, is there's going to be low points for sure, and there's going to be high points. But you can't let the low points derail your season. You address the need, you address the problem, and correct it. Move on is the only way to go. This is what we did when we had the Section 7 Class B championship to Cougar. At the end of the regular season though, I asked Jordan Dominic and Skylar Hebert to join our varsity team for the rest of the year. We had some players who were nursing injuries, and we needed some help in practice. They both gladly accepted and became part of our team. I enjoyed having them, and I got some very good varsity experience. They got some very good varsity experience going through the sections with us. I'm sure both of these will be good additions to next year's team. Allie Carchay was just a sophomore, and she didn't know she wanted to try out for the varsity. We didn't have a lot of size, and I asked her to at least try out to see if she would like it. I knew after 3 nights that she would just fit right in. She wasn't asked to do a lot of scoring. We had 4 senior starters who took care of that. But what she brought was a presence down low and on the board. She averaged over 8 rebounds a game and played great defense. I hope she was as happy with her decision to come to the varsity as I was. It was such a pleasure having her on the team. Katie Blair was limited playing time this year. We were stocked with so many guards, I had a hard time getting everybody in the game. When she did get the game though, I was happy with her play. She worked hard in practice and she's improving all the time. She will play a bigger role on next year's team. Paige Southwood was also one who got caught in the guard rotation. Paige is a very good shooter. Night after night in practice, she'd nail it. She was not afraid to put up her shot, I know that. She works hard in practice, usually guarding Katrina or Chelsea. That's no easy task. I think Paige has the ability to push herself next year to become a starter. No basketball team is complete without a player like Kayla Dragoon. I'm sure you all know Kayla. She always seems to energize the team. Some nights in practice are just hilarious. When I look at her during practice, it always looked like she was up to something, but I couldn't really prove it. Kayla actually surprised me this year. She gave us a lot of quality minutes playing down low. And she did an excellent job for us off the bench. I think she will be a great senior. She's going to have a great senior season. My next 2 girls, Bianca Grimshaw and Justine Rabu, were almost interchangeable. They were also 2 guards getting playing time. At times I would lean more toward Bianca, and other times I would lean toward Justine. Bianca Grimshaw, I think, is probably one of the nicest girls you could ever know. She never questioned my decision, was always looking to do something to help out. Justine was a little more quieter. She was more to herself. I think she had a little mean streak in her though. Well, I don't think, I know. She didn't take any bullying from the opposing player, as we found out in the game. 2 very different girls, but 2 of the same on the court. They both like to run, both could put up points when we needed them, and both had plenty of hustle on defense. These 2 girls are going to be a big part of next year's team. For all they did this year though, I decided to give both of them very well deserved Most Improved Player Award. I have coached Megan Holden now for the last 4 years. She's a very quiet girl in practice. She goes about her business, and she does a good job. She's another player that got caught with limited playing time, yet she hardly ever complains. What people don't see in Megan though is how hard she works in practice. If Megan was on almost any other team in the league, her playing time would have certainly been increased. Megan feels her role and did a great job. I certainly enjoyed coaching Megan, and I wish her all the best in the future. The last 4 girls, Rachel, Carey, Chelsea, and Katrina, were the heart and soul of our team throughout that. These 4 girls were all starters for the last 2 years. We have seen lots of playing time, and they work well together. When one of them would have a bad game, the others would pick her up. They're not just good teammates, they're good friends. Katrina was a steadiest scorer, averaging around 18 points a game. Against Alsable Valley, she scored a 1,000 point of achievement. She was also a very good defender. She was always good for 3 or 4 steals every game. She has been on the varsity team now for 5 years. There's not a lot of people throughout the league that can say that. She also earned first team All-Star. The best word I have to describe Chelsea work is probably very selfish. I'm sure she could have averaged every point in double digits of points if she had wanted to. One word I can relate to Chelsea is like a spark plug. You need a spark plug for your engine to run. Well, we had the best spark plug money could buy. Her relentless hustle could not go unnoticed. She was a leader by example. I'm sure that there were a lot of youth players out there who watched her, and they wished they could play the same way. Someone imitating your example is one of the greatest compliments you could ever receive. Chelsea did a great job. Carey was a very passionate player. She loves the game and gives it her all when she's on the court. Carey was often given the task of defending the opposing team's best player. She did an outstanding job. In the sectional game against Lafave Valley, she guarded Alexis Coolidge, and in the final game, she guarded Stephanie Himmler. Coolidge, who was a league MVP, only scored 11 points. And Linder, who played first team All-Star, only got 7. A lot of time defense goes unnoticed, but believe me, Carey, I say defense. Carey could also score, averaging around 8 or 9 points a game. Excellent job, Carey. Rachel was without a doubt the most emotional player on the team. But I think her will to win was unquestionable. Rachel had her biggest game of the year against Lafave Valley in the playoffs, scoring 18 points. She worked hard on her shooting in practice, and it showed. She averaged around 11 points a game. Rachel came to practice every night, ready to work hard. And I can honestly say, Rachel, practice will never be the same without you. When I look back at all of my seniors, I coach all of them. On the day side, both of them. Katrina, I coached her 1 year of JV, 2 years of varsity. Megan, I had 2 years of JV, 2 years of varsity. Chelsea, 2 years of JV, 2 years of varsity. Carey, 2 years of JV, 2 years of varsity. Rachel, I had 3 years of JV, 3 years of varsity. 5 years of Rachel. I've enjoyed coaching all 5 of these girls for the majority of their high school career. I hope we have built a friendship for life. I awarded all 4 girls, the last 4, Katrina, Chelsea, Carey, and Rachel, not only for what they did this year, but for what they have accomplished in their entire basketball careers. They all certainly deserve to be recognized. In conclusion, I want to thank my entire team for a great year. It was not always a smooth ride, but together we ironed out the bumps. You have all made me proud to say that I was your coach. I wish all my seniors good luck. I know all of you will succeed in whatever path you choose in your life. Always remember your Cougar family though. Come back and visit at any time. You will always be welcome. The last thing I have for my team, I don't have it here tonight. We're not even made yet. For all your hard work, we're going to get some plaques to recognize our sectional title. And they'll be here